Take a deep breath. Oh, how do you feel? Don't you feel fresh? Yes. So when you're breathing in, you're breathing in the air. So in this chapter, we are going to learn more about air, the composition of air, the importance of air, and the uses of air. We all know that air is around us. We can just feel it, and it is invisible, as well as it is free of cost. It is the only thing on this earth because of which life is possible on the earth. So let's learn more about air. Air is a natural resource and it is an envelope of air that surrounds the earth. So this blanket of air which surrounds the earth is actually called the atmosphere. Air is actually a mixture of gases, and the atmosphere is always thicker and heavier near the ground. So as we travel above the ground or away from the ground, the air starts becoming thinner and lighter. So after the atmosphere ends, the space begins. The air and the atmosphere. As we have said previously, we can just feel air. It is invisible. It is actually a natural resource. That is the resource which is available in the nature, and it is provided by the nature. There is an envelope of air surrounding the earth. So it's in the form of, we actually say it's in the form of a blanket. So this blanket of air, it is called atmosphere. Air is mixture of gases, and the atmosphere is thicker and heavier near the ground. Meaning to say, as we will move away from the ground, the air will start becoming thinner as we go further away. And after the atmosphere ends, the space begins. Now this is a representative figure for our understanding the different layers of the atmosphere. So the first layer, which is just above the Earth's surface, is the troposphere. The second layer is the stratosphere. The third layer is the mesosphere. The fourth layer is the thermosphere. And the fifth layer is the exosphere. So we are going to see each layer in detail in the further slides. The troposphere is the first layer and closest to the surface of the earth. This is the lowest part of the atmosphere, the part we live in. So it contains most of our weather, clouds, rain, snow. So all the weather phenomena will occur in this layer. It consists of gases that we breathe in. So it contains about 75% of all of the air in the atmosphere and almost all of the water vapor. So this is what troposphere is about. Now let's study something about the second layer, and the name of the second layer is the stratosphere. It extends about 50 kilometers in height above the troposphere. Air in stratosphere is less dense than that in the troposphere. It contains the ozone gas. So actually the ozone layer, right? The ozone layer, it absorbs the harmful ultraviolet rays of the sun and thus protects the living things from skin cancer and other health damage. So this is all about stratosphere. Now the third layer is the mesosphere. So basically the region above the stratosphere is called the mesosphere, and most of the meteorites, they burn up in this layer and hence do not reach the earth. So interestingly, this layer also protects the earth, and all the meteorites which are entering the earth's atmosphere, usually burn in the mesosphere, and thus they protect the earth from any kind of damage. The thermosphere is the next layer, and it lies above the mesosphere, and it is a region in which temperature increases with height. So the temperature increase is caused by the absorption of energetic UV rays and X-ray radiation from the sun. Now the region of the atmosphere above about 80 km is also called the ionosphere. Now this ionosphere actually plays an important role because the ionosphere reflects and absorbs radio waves, allowing us to receive shortwave radio broadcast from other parts of the world, and we are able to listen to these radio programs. Even space shuttles orbit in this layer. This is what thermosphere is about. Now, exosphere is the outermost layer of the atmosphere, and from here the atmosphere merges into the outer space. Now, it contains mainly oxygen and hydrogen atoms, but these are so few that they rarely collide with each other. So basically, it is the upper part of thermosphere, and artificial satellites actually travel here, and very few air particles are present in this layer. Now the next thing that we are going to study is importance of the atmosphere. So why atmosphere is so important to us? So atmosphere is of great importance for the existence and continuation of life on the earth. So mean to say that all the living things that we see around us, they exist because of atmosphere, as well as they are able to reproduce and to continue the life on earth. Atmosphere is of utmost importance. So as we have earlier said that air is actually a mixture of gases. So it is made up of oxygen, it is made up of carbon dioxide. So oxygen in air makes respiration possible for all living things, thereby supporting life on the earth. As well as we have seen that oxygen is necessary for combustion. Mean to say, if you have to burn something, oxygen is very necessary for burning the things. Now the next important aspect of atmosphere is that it actually helps in maintaining the temperature of the earth to maintain life or for the survival of the living things. So the atmosphere absorbs energy from the sun and warms the earth's surface by retaining heat and not letting it escape. Now, we all know that during the day the sunlight enters the atmosphere, it hits the earth's surface and it is reflected back. But actually the atmosphere will absorb this energy and it will warm the earth's surface. So it protects the earth from the coldness of the space by storing the heat energy during the night and helps in maintaining the temperature, which is of utmost importance for the survival of living things. Now we have already studied the water cycle, in which due to sun's heat, the water present in the oceans gets converted into water vapor, which rises high. It forms the clouds, and again the water condenses and precipitates down in the form of rain onto the earth. But again here, the atmosphere plays an important role in recycling water of the earth through the water cycle. Now we have already seen while studying the layers of the earth that in the stratosphere, the ozone gas which is present, it actually forms an ozone layer, and the most important role which it plays is that it absorbs the harmful ultraviolet rays of the sun and thus protects all the living things from skin cancer or any further damage. Now, another thing which we have already studied is that mesosphere, which is the third layer, here most of the meteoroids, they burn up. Thus, the atmosphere burns off meteoroids and prevents them from hitting the earth. As well as the atmosphere is made up of air, right? So air is a carrier of sound waves. It is due to the atmosphere that people can talk and hear each other. So this is the importance of the atmosphere. Now we have to study what air is made up of. So air is actually a mixture of various gases, and the two main gases present in the atmosphere are nitrogen and oxygen, argon, carbon dioxide, water vapor, and some other gases. They are present in small quantities. So basically nitrogen, it forms 78% of the atmosphere, oxygen forms 21%, and less than 1% of argon, carbon dioxide, and other gases are present.